Welcome to Animated Tops and Flops, where we dive into the best and worst episodes of your favorite animated series. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Janice. Join us on our tour to Springfield as we continue our talk about The Simpsons. For our top today, we are going to be talking about Cape Fear, which is Season 5, Episode 2, rated at a 9.2.
And for our flop, we will be discussing All Singing, All Dancing, Season 9, Episode 12, coming in at a solid 5.
And I believe that's another clip show, right?
It is another clip show. I'm starting to see a pattern here. But enough about the flop. Let's go into the top. Janice.
Yes.
Let's do a little a top synopsis.
Oh, excellent. The top synopsis, everybody. So for those of you who haven't seen this episode in a really long time, or you haven't seen it at all, I'm going to give you a very brief yet detailed synopsis about the episode. So, Lisa and Bart are watching Up Late with McBain while Lisa receives a letter from her pen pal Anya, whose president was overthrown, and Bart receives a letter too that says, "I'm going to kill you," in blood. Cut to Itchy and Scratchy, where Lisa is laughing at the violence, but Bart is stone cold scared and quiet. More threatening letters come for Bart in blood. Grandpa suggests a detective to find out who the culprit is. Milhouse confirms that no one at school is trying to kill him. And a series of comedic moments happen where Bart is paranoid and perceiving everything as threatening. Marge goes to the police to complain about the letters, and Lisa thinks that Mo is the culprit, and Mo receives a call from Lisa and releases his pandas in the back room. Sideshow Bob is granted parole after his court hearing and encounters Bart at the movies with his family. Wiggum sets up a booty trap in the Simpsons' home while Sideshow... Is it booty or is it booby trap?
It's a booby trap. I was like, did she say booby?
I was like... It's like, wait.
She would have said that booty trap.
I literally said booty trap, not booby trap. I mean, both are, but anywho, okay. We're gonna correct that.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, I swear I know English. Lisa thinks that Mo is the culprit and releases his pandas in the back room. Sideshow Bob is granted parole and encounters Bart at the movies. Wiggum sets up a booby trap in the Simpsons' home, while Sideshow Bob goes around announcing who he won't kill in the neighborhood. The Simpsons enter the Witness Protection Program and move to a houseboat. Sideshow Bob at Lake Terror. Sideshow Bob follows them and corners Bart to kill him. Bart saves himself by distracting Bob with show tunes from HMS Pinafore as his last request, until the cops meet up with the moving Simpsons houseboat, where Sideshow Bob is arrested. The end.
Hooray.
But not of this podcast.
Oh, bum, 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 bum,
Da da da.
Oh.
Alyssa.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you hit us with the writers and directors of this episode?
Funk, yeah. All right. So I'm going to start with the air date. It was October 7th, 1993. So it is an older episode indeed. The director of this episode, I know, they're really good. I'm like watching through season 14 right now, and it's just the best.
Yeah. It's a good season too.
I know. So the director of this episode is Rich Moore, who has done many, many tops on this podcast. He's directed such films as Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Zootopia. He did the Simpsons movie. He directed a few episodes of Drawn Together, and new on his IMDb is an untitled Jack and the Beanstalk show for Netflix. So we'll see what that's about. The writer, I know, right? The writer of this episode is John Vitti, who wrote the screenplay for the Simpsons movie, as well as the Chipmunks movie, the Angry Birds movie, a couple episodes of King of the Hill and The Office, and he wrote the lyrics to Spider Pig.
Oh,
yes,
that's iconic.
I know. I saw that, was like, well, that's going in here. I can't not mention that.
Yeah, Spider Pig, Spider Pig. Does whatever a spider pig does.
Does he swing from a web?
There's a web
No, he can't. He's a pig.
pig.
Look out, here comes Spider Pig.
Love it.
That's like my favorite part.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so
yeah, I was gonna say, tell me some of your favorite moments of this episode.
oh my god, there's so many. There are so many. First of all, Kelsey Grammer is the perfect Sideshow Bob voice ever.
I know.
I mean, the voice, the singing, the classic
Oh my god. The mannerisms, the way he like just pronounces words very eloquently.
Yes, and just so theatrical, so dramatic, but also, like you said, it's eloquent. It's I just love Sideshow Bob. I think he might be one of my favorite characters in The Simpsons.
Me too.
Yeah, because don't you just love like all the episodes that he's in? There's
Yes,
really not a bad Sideshow Bob episode.
No, there's not. I can't think of one.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, I love it. Okay, I have so many moments that I love. Okay, first I have to tell you about some one-liners. I love the dig. Any chance that the Simpsons writers get to dig at the Fox network, I think is so freaking funny. And of course, it was like 3 lines into this episode. Fox network has sunk to a new low. I love when Bart is like going through his moments of paranoia and his mom has the kitchen knife and she's like, now be careful. And then Flanders is with his little like sheer like, you know, Freddy Krueger fingers is like, say your prayer, Simpson, because the schools can't force you like they should. And then of course Sideshow Bob saying in response to Bart's request for HMS Pinafore is, I shall send you to heaven before I send you to hell. And I love Marge's response to Lisa of, Dad's been drugged. No, he hasn't.
No, yeah. Oh
and of course, Snake and Bob's exchange when they're going like in and out of the courtroom.
Oh my
says,
god, I have
well,
that on
friend,
mine too.
I hope I see you on like more, I don't know, criminal times or whatever. And he's like, gaw? Gaw.
That was such a good Snake.
Gaw.
I have that one too. I was like, what a weird thing to say.
I know. And Snake is just such like, I don't know, he's got this like California surfer boy kind of like Valley Girl attitude almost. Like, y'all, like, I totally know. You know, that vocal fry even at the bottom. It's so funny to me. But yeah, those are a few of my favorite.
You're really good at Snake.
Thanks.
I didn't know. It's so funny.
What are some of your favorite moments or one-liners?
Yes. Before I hop into that, I'm gonna do the gags. We're gonna do
yes. Tell us about
we got a full opening.
Yes. Okay. Tell us about the opening and the couch gag.
Yes. Okay. So we got a full opening, and there's a reason for it, and we're gonna get into that when we talk about our fun facts. So the chalkboard gag is the cafeteria deep fryer is not a toy. And the couch gag is the Simpsons kick line that slowly morphs into a big circus crowd, which this opening has been used twice now. So it was once before this, and I keep forgetting that my mouse doesn't work down there. Let's see if I have it in here. Yeah, so that couch gag was first used in Lisa's first word because of how long it is. Again, we'll get into that later.
Yes. I can't wait.
I know. Some of my favorite one-liners was the GABA.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. The classic. No, it says V Bart, V.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Which I looked up. It means many Bart many.
Interesting.
Right? I was like, I wonder what that means. That's what it means.
Oh, one of the jurors saying, oh, truly no one who speaks German could be evil.
Right? Let's see, the The one where they're in the movie theater and Sideshow Bob goes, "Oh, I'll stay away forever." Wait a minute, that's no good.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he tries to be like, Marge, say it again, say
yeah,
it again.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like,
Oh, I
please
thought
do
of
it.
a good one.
She's like, no, go away.
um,
Marge.
the entire scene with the Mr. Thompson, where
Oh my God,
they're like,
yes.
"I'll say hello, Mr. Thompson," and you respond back, and it's so fun. It reminded me of the SpongeBob episode where, um, I forgot what the supervillain is, but he's trying to give Patrick his wallet, and it's like,
Plankton?
no, it's a different supervillain. He's
Oh,
got like
okay.
a weird like mask, and it's really his head, but SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to turn him nice. And so he's like playing along, and SpongeBob is like, "Oh, give this wallet back to Patrick. Pretend he lost it." And he's like, "Okay." So he's like, "Sir, I think you dropped your wallet." And Patrick's like, "That's not my wallet." He's like, No, you just dropped it. It's yours." He's like, "I don't want it." And he goes, "You're Patrick Star, right?" He's like, "Yep. I found this license in this wallet, so this must be your wallet. Makes sense to me. So take it. It's not my wallet." That's like all I could think about the whole time.
Oh, I love it.
Oh god, I know there's more. Oh, Grandpa, where they're like, "Yeah, we tied up all our loose ends," and he's like, "Hello, I'm cold and there are wolves after me." And then, oh god, there's just so many. Both Homer parts where he like busts into Bart's room is like, "Bart, do you want some brownies before you go to bed?"
Yes.
And then the one after that where he's like, "Bart, do you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask?"
Okay, on top of that, there were to add to that, there were so many like horror references that I just really appreciated. Those being a couple of
Yes.
them, and then Bob staying at the Bates Motel in Psycho.
Yes.
I was like, okay, yes.
I know. Oh my god.
Hannibal, the name
Oh
of
my god.
the in the
I
parade and
know,
everything.
right? I saw that too. I was like, "Ooh!" And then obviously the Freddy Krueger fingers and
Oh, yes.
oh my god, yeah,
Yes.
so many. And it was also very HMS Pinafore or Gilbert and Sullivan heavy, which I also thought was really funny.
Yes.
Like
I love
horror
it.
and Gilbert and Sullivan.
I mean, it was perfect, really, because like it's such a dramatic, operatic like episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, it played so well. It really was like watching almost an opera with how dramatic
Oh,
everything was and a little over
yes,
the top, but at the same time, it was so well done.
I know. Oh, I forgot we have a second couch gag in this episode.
Tell us about it.
We have a second couch gag where they're all going into their new home on the lake, and they go in, and a bunch of fish fall on them.
Yes, yes, that
And that's our
is
second couch gag.
the Thompsons.
The Thompsons.
Love it.
My last line that I like is at the very end where Bart goes, "Take them away, boys," and Chief Wiggum goes, "Hey, that's my job. Take them away, toys." What did you say, Chief? Do what the boy said.
Yeah. uh,
What
and
about like? Oh yeah, go ahead.
the rake gag just kills me every
I
time.
I love that scene so much. It's so dumb, and I love it so much.
I love it.
Uh,
Absolutely love it. It's iconic.
it's so
Just
good.
so
Was there
good.
any like funny moments that you liked? Like aside from one-liners, were there any like things that you just really liked that popped up?
Oh my god, you definitely hit it on the head with the hockey mask and like Homer coming in every time. Oh, a moment that I really loved too. It was a perfect rule of threes where Bart runs to the side of the boat and there's the
Yes.
alligator. Then he runs to the other side and there's the eels. And then he runs back to the other side and he's like, "Oh yeah." It was so funny. It was like it's just perfect. And then of course, I mean, just like I wonder, I want to Google this right now. I want to know how long the HMS Pinafore soundtrack is.
It's
Because
got
that's how long they were on the boat.
I know, and it's at 15 miles to Springfield, so that's super interesting. I want to say 2.5 hours.
It's 68 minutes. That's not
So
long at all.
no, it's not. That's only an hour
That's
and eight
pretty
minutes.
short.
That
Bart,
is
you
really
didn't give
short.
yourself much time, but I mean, if you're right down the
we're
river, I
not
guess.
right, and we're not accounting for like the quick changes that Bob had to do, and
Yes, he
Bart
had
made
some set
popcorn.
pieces.
Yeah, so there was props involved.
He did join him at one point to sing as well, the
Yes, he did.
sailor one.
Yeah.
Um, oh my god, there's just so many great moments in here. I This is a really, really well done episode. And that episode that they showed at the very beginning of McBain
Yes.
uh late at night, like that was really offensive, so like it was perfect for the beginning to like really set it up like with the fox joke, and then for them to be like, wow, this has really gone downhill, and then it all goes further downhill from there. It was
Yeah.
almost like a little of like, it's not the worst to come.
It's funny because I was like, well, that opening didn't really need to be there at all. Like, this McBain thing didn't need to be here at all. It's so unnecessary. But then they go, man, Fox has really gone downhill. And I was like, oh, that's why it's here.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
We always, we got to give a little dig once in a while to the network, especially when they make us do one clip show a season.
I think it was
Yeah,
2 clip shows a season, or at least it started that way. I'm pretty sure there's 2 clip shows in season 9.
I think you're right.
Which is
You're right.
horrible. And it's funny. Devin was
Oh.
watching me watch this episode,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "This is a weird episode," or the clip show one. He's like, "This is a weird episode," and I was like, "Ugh," and he goes, "Oh my god, like you don't have to explain why it's weird if you don't want to. You sound like you're really perturbed by it." And I'm like, "Let me tell you about these clip shows."
Yes. However, I don't think this one was as bad as the rest, and we'll get to that
Yeah, so we will get
in
to
a
that. We'll get
second.
to that.
So there is so much detail in the tattoos that Sideshow Bob shows, like his head on a skateboard on his back and
Yes.
everything. Like they went all out on the details with that, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have a note written here that itchy and scratchy juxtaposition to make Simpson's life seem less violent.
Ooh. That
Yeah.
would make a lot of sense because like every Itchy and Scratchy show are incredibly violent,
Yeah.
which it really downplays all the violence, and I'm even putting it in air quotes because it doesn't really feel like violence in The
Yeah.
Simpsons. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I thought that was just an interesting, like, I don't know. It was a discovery that I had.
Yes, good observation. Ooh,
Thank you. Thank you.
I liked seeing Martin Prince as Lizzie Borden.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. We did one-liners. We did favorite moments. We did the synopsis.
Do I have any
Fun
more
facts.
favorite?
Do we have some fun facts?
Yes.
Oh. You go first.
Okay. My favorite fun fact about this episode is that, well, I have a bunch. I'm just gonna do this one first. That I was talking about before. The reason why they did the longer couch gag is because even when they finished writing this episode, it was still too short. So they got a longer couch gag. They did it because it was a longer one that they've used before. They added an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. They added a bunch of misleads as to who's trying to kill Bart. They added the rake sequence. Kelsey Grammer only recorded that grumble once, and he was
Oh
not
yeah,
aware
you
that
could
they were
kind of
going.
tell.
Yeah, which is like what makes it even better.
But I
because
love it.
It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same like tone and intonation the entire time. And they just added extra rakes just to add more time to the episode.
I love it.
That's like my favorite fun fact. And what about you? What else? What do you have? I have more, but
I
I want to hear what
definitely
your
had that
favorite
as
is.
well. Give us a couple more because I'm gonna
Oh,
pull up one or two more.
yeah. The other one was that this episode was the inspiration for the 2012 play Mr. Burns, a post-electric play by Annie Washburn, which I did
Ooh.
not know that.
What?
I know. And instead
Wow.
of Bart and Sideshow Bob, it's Bart and Mr. Burns, which is like the difference, but like it almost has like the same idea. So like at the end, it's like very operatic. Apparently, I've never seen it, but I've always wanted to. It's very operatic, very like
Oh, they
Gilbert
did
and
that at Theater
Sullivan.
Wit, and I really
I
wanted
know,
to
and I
see
wanted
it.
to see it, and I didn't.
I know. It was always sold out, and I was like, come on. Come on.
Come on. This is Hank Azaria's favorite episode.
It is.
Yes.
Hank.
I know.
Sideshow Bob's passion for singing is a dimension to the character that was uniquely Kelsey Grammer's, stemming from his own personal history of singing standards on set of Cheers. I think that's really cute.
It's so cute.
Because that's such a big thing of Sideshow Bob. He loves show tunes, and I just
No.
find that so endearing that like Kelsey brought that to the role.
Which it makes Sideshow Bob just like, that's why we love him so much. He's like a 4-dimensional character. He's got all this, like,
Oh
he's got
yeah.
so many different things going on that you just can't help but like him.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It is really hard.
This episode aired less than a month after the debut of Frasier. Which,
Ooh,
isn't that cool? I was like, oh
that
my
is
God.
really cool.
Like, he was like doing Frasier and like this at the same time. But that means because this is his 3rd episode with The Simpsons. So he started doing this before he did Frasier.
Yes, and this is the first Sideshow Bob episode to not have Krusty the Clown in it.
Good.
Yes.
Oh, is that mean?
Honestly, no. I mean, Krusty is very one-dimensional for how sad he is as a clown.
Yeah.
I
It's
will
like
say that. Like,
he brings down, like, what I think because Sideshow Bob is so much and Krusty's so little, it like he brings Bob down with him, and then it's like,
yeah. Yeah. Sideshow Bob, if he had his own show, I think would just thrive. But sadly, we never get Sideshow Bob, the show. We only get the Krusty show.
there should be like a, you know what? The last time we said there should be an episode like, it came true. So there should be an episode like Treehouse of Horror, alternate dimension, and it's Sideshow Bob that's thriving, and Krusty's the one that's not thriving, and see how that plays out.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I need to see the White Lotus episode though. I think it's so funny that we were like, there should be a White Lotus one, and then you're like, look at this.
Yes, I need to watch it. I'm so excited to watch it. I am like literally just shaking. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
It's like they heard us and they were like, you know what, that's a great idea.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's like we're in sync. The episode was temporarily banned from broadcast in Germany because it shows McBain's announcer in full Nazi regalia. And Germany is very, very like, we respect that what happened, and they don't try to, propagate anything that resembles any kind of appropriation to dictatorship. You know what I mean? So like I could see why Germany did that.
There's also places in Germany that will like straight up be like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
There was never a Hitler here. World War II never happened. So like that also checks out that they're like, let's just get rid of that.
Homer requests his name be John Elway, and in his dream sequence, he scores a touchdown against the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 30, in which the 49ers defeat the Broncos 55-7. In reality, the 49ers defeated the Broncos 55-10 in Super Bowl XX1V, which is Super Bowl 24 for all you football fans. I know we're doing a bracket, but honestly, like the football stuff kind of goes over my head.
Yeah, no, same.
But if you like football, there it is.
There you go. Football. Hey, all you football fans.
This is the second time Sideshow Bob is seen out of jail.
I'm so sorry I did that.
What? What'd you do?
I was just, forget it. Go ahead.
I missed it.
I like screamed out loud, hey, all you football fans. And then you just kept talking like I didn't say it. And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. No.
I didn't hear it.
Continue.
Yes, ma'am. I think those are all the fun facts that I have. Do you think this episode deserves the rating of 9.2, which I will say is right below the highest rated episode of 9.3?
Oh, what's the highest rated episode? Oh, is that
Homer's Enemy.
Homer's Enemy. You know what? I think I like this episode better than Homer's Enemy. I would give it like a 9.5 because I like that it listen, I love Sideshow Bob. I love him so much. And so I like that it's a Sideshow Bob heavy episode. This is also the first Sideshow Bob episode where he attempts to kill Bart. The other two, it was framing Krusty for robbery and then trying to kill Selma.
Yeah.
I think that is super interesting that this is the first time he actually tries to kill Bart. Um, and I just like Kelsey Grammer can do no wrong. And it's also a very Bart heavy episode. And I like the Bart Sideshow Bob relationship, and so I like being able to see them together. And like there's just so much in this episode that just kills me, like the Mr. Thompson scene, like literally every moment where he thinks he's gonna get murdered because people are like holding a knife up to him and they're just like, I'm just cutting coupons. I love this episode very, very much, so I would give it like a 9.5, 9.6 even. Like this might be my favorite episode.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Like, this, I think, is fantastic. And I can't wait
Mm-hmm.
until our next episode of our podcast when we do talk about
Yeah.
Homer's enemy, because that is the highest rated episode so far. And I think there's so much about that episode that's fantastic and that speaks a lot to today. But this episode, I feel like stands on its own and truly represents The Simpsons and what it's all about. Like, if I were to show anyone The Simpsons for the first time, I'd probably show them this episode because I
Oof.
feel like it perfectly. I mean, you get all the one liners from like all of the characters in town, like, you know,
Yeah.
like you just get to know everyone so well without having to go too deep. And it's just, I think it showcases a lot of people very well. Um, I
I'd be
love it.
afraid to show people this episode first and then them being like, oh my God, it's so funny. And then they start watching other ones. They're like, hey, these aren't as good. And you're like, I'm sorry.
Right, starting with the best and like,
Right. And you're
yeah,
like, ooh, sorry.
yeah.
Keep watching it though.
But no, this is a great one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one, when we get to that bracket,
I
y'all
know.
better be ready.
Oh yes.
I'm coming for it.
Shall we move on to our flop?
Let's move on to the flippity flops.
Let's
As a
do it.
reminder, our flop for this episode is All Singing, All Dancing, season 9, episode 12, rated at a solid 5. Janice,
Yes.
give us that flop synopsis.
The flop synopsis. So, for those of you who have not seen this episode or it's been a really long time, here's a very brief yet detailed recap of what happened in the episode. All right, so we open on Homer coming home without waiting to exhale and returns with a Clint Eastwood flick instead, which happens to be a musical. Homer gets really upset that they're singing and not killing. The family then breaks out into song, and Marge reminds Homer that he loves to sing. And then we start on our journey of a clip episode. So basically, what happened was Fox had said to cut down on cost, we want you to do a clip episode so we could save on the animation, so we could save on cost of the animation because animation is costly and it is expensive. But at the same time, this was a huge show and it was very of its time. And I can't imagine that they were doing so poorly in ratings during these times. But anywho, I'm not a producer of Fox, so I can't speak to that. But I will say that this is a really good clip episode because I know we've talked in the past about how we wish that somebody put like all of the songs of The Simpsons in one playlist so we could watch it, and we literally got what we asked for in this. So we opened up on Baby on Board, which is my personal favorite song of The Simpsons. I think it's so lovely, and that cute little like banjo in the background is just a chef's kiss. Then it's followed by We Put the Spring in Springfield. Then we have Springfield, Springfield, which is the Squishy Drink Broadway Bender episode with Milhouse and Bart. Snake then breaks into the home and interjects the whole clip episode, and he's holding up The Simpsons. Then we go into the Who Needs the Quickie Mart? Then we have a random Send in the Clowns, which I hated, but you know, whatever, it's there. Then we go into another one of my favorites, Burns's wardrobe patter song of see my vest, it's made of gorilla chest.
Yes.
Then we have Snake returning to interrupt again and saying, please stop singing. He's terrorizing the Simpsons. And then we move into the monorail song, an absolute classic. We know you love it,
Mhm.
Kim. And then we go into Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly.
Yes.
That's a prank made by Bart in an episode in the church. He replaces the hymns with all of the music for that, which it actually sounded really good in the
I
church.
know. I
Um,
love it.
and then another one of our favorites from another one of our tops is We Do, We
Mhm.
Do. Um, Snake then drops in one last time to finish off the episode and shoots the window because he wants the music to stop. He also shoots the credits because the credits have music as well. And I thought that was a really cute touch.
That's a very cute touch.
They did their best again with uh, a clip episode. They tried to put a little narrative behind it. But yeah,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts overall on the episode?
I liked it. But like
Yeah.
it's because it had all the songs that we absolutely love, and so just seeing them back to back was just so wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
Every other part though, I hated. Like
The
them just
snake
late.
stuff.
Well, the snake stuff was fine. I think it's funny that we were talking about Snake in the episode before. We were like, "Oh, Snake."
Yeah.
The snake stuff was fine. It was just the way that they were like talk singing. And I was like, it just
Mm.
felt really lazy. Like they could have not talk sung. They could have just talked normally, and like that would have been fine. But I was like really annoyed every time we would like bounce back to them in the house because I'm like, just take me to more clip shows.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I really enjoyed that they tried to put something in there to like keep it a narrative. It wasn't the most interesting connection to make with, Snake and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I did love Marge being like, "No, this is a musical now. You love to sing." And how she got everything started, I think was pretty smooth. But yeah, I love some of these songs so much. Like I pulled some one-liners from there where I was like, yeah, these are perfect.
They're so good.
Um Hit us with that couch gag and the opening, and let's talk about the writers directors.
Yes. We'll start with the director, who is Mark Irving, who directed 170 episodes of The Simpsons, 6 episodes of Futurama, and our supervising director extraordinaire, whom we love dearly, our baby Jim Reardon, who was
Love
there
Jim Reardon.
helping out little Marky Irving. The writer of this episode was Steve O'Donnell, who did some pieces for the 2016 Oscars. He wrote for Jimmy Kimmel, The Chris Rock Show, Simpsons, Seinfeld, Dana Carvey, David Letterman. He's done it all, baby. Um, and it aired January 4th, 1998.
Ah, very good.
On to the gags. There was no chalkboard gag. And the couch gag was them running on like a Jetson like walkway. They all get on the couch, but Homer gets, I wrote down, Homer gets Georged because he like starts going around the walkway and he goes, Marge, stop this crazy thing. I thought
Love
that was
it.
funny. Yeah. All right, hit me with your one liners because I know you got them.
All right, I got some good one-liners. Of course, from Monorail, sorry, Mom, the mob has spoken. Is probably one of the best. Also, all of the animals that Mr. Burns has in his wardrobe is just, it's so funny how it's done.
Mm.
This is albino rhino that is definitely extinct or something.
Wait,
Just
oh yeah,
absolutely love
I think
it.
I remember that. African endangered rhino. That's all I remember.
uh the turtlenecks. I love the turtlenecks. Let's see. I just love Baby on Board. That is a really sweet
Mm.
episode. And I love that song so much. Baby on Board is so good. Um I love the burlesque house too. We
Uh,
put the boing in Springfield.
we put the whoop.
Yeah. And then she was like, Quimby, how could you? And he's like, you worked here.
You have a good Quimby too.
All days. I love this show. These characters are so much fun.
Oh.
Um, Oh, the IMDb chart that we've been using was incorrect. This is episode 12 according to Disney Plus,
Yes.
and another clip show of all the songs. Sorry, that was a different thing that I had wrote, and I did not put a period to make that a sentence. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was.
Yes, I
um,
also noticed that. I was like, well, that's not right. Um,
yeah,
so I did update it for this podcast, but the one before where I'm like, episode 11 is incorrect.
it is incorrect.
It is episode 12.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite one-liners is actually after the Quickie Mart song, where they hear Apu crying and they all go outside and see him, you know, who misses the Quickie Mart? I do. And then Homer's like, he lied to us through song. I hate it when they do that. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, he totally gaslit them through song.
I
Like, just completely lied.
know. Ugh.
Apu.
I love that song though.
It is a really good song. And that's a really good episode, too. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of shocked it wasn't up here as
I
well.
know. I know. There's a few episodes that I'm going through and I'm watching and I'm like, man, why wasn't this up there? It's pretty good.
Yeah. What other ones were you pretty shocked by that you've really enjoyed?
Oh God, I've been watching so much lately. I'm like just going through it. Um, Lisa's Bully.
Ooh, that's a
I
good one.
I know I really like that episode and I'm shocked to see it on here and I forgot about it until I watched it and I was like, man, this brings me back.
Mm-hmm.
Um God, I can't even remember like one of the ones I watched. The one I watched most recently was I don't remember what it was called, but it was like I think with Gwyneth Paltrow and she's like a new girl at school who thinks she's like way older than she is.
Oh, yeah.
And then they do like
Mm-hmm.
a dance and all that stuff. And I'm like, this one was pretty good. This one was okay. I actually like I kind of enjoyed it. I don't remember like what I watched recently. My brain is mush. It's just a modge podge of Simpsons episodes.
I know. And honestly, sometimes they all kind of bleed together and you're like, oh, like, we'll talk about this in the next episode of our podcast, but Homer's enemy, I had thought that, and maybe it was a moment that was used twice, but there's a cutaway scene where Bart goes, I wonder where all the rats are going to go. And they run to Moe's and he goes, all right, everybody, pick up your socks. Like tuck your pants into your socks. And I
Yeah.
was like, I swear I thought I saw that scene in a different episode, like the same cutaway when they were fracking at the school.
Oh my god, it is it is the same episode. Oh, not the same episode. It is that's
Is
exactly
it
the
the same
same scene.
cutscene?
Because
Okay,
I thought the same thing.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
am I
"Oh my
going
god,
crazy?
wait. No, that's the exact same cutaway." And I wonder if they did that on purpose because when they did like both of them the la, 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 the words leading into that cutscene are I wonder where all the rats are going to go. And I wonder
Yeah.
if they put that in and we're like, hey, wait a minute, we've done this before. Let's just reuse this
Let's
scene.
just put him
And
back at Moe's.
it came up and I was like, wait a minute. Janice loves this line.
You cheeky writers. You cheeky.
You
You think of
cheeky.
everything. Think of everything. This is why I love The Simpsons. It's got lore. It's got, you know, callbacks. I love it.
Ugh, I love it too.
But yeah, I noticed that and I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. I think we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm. And we have. We have.
We
We'll
have.
gab more about it next episode.
Yes, yes. I can't wait. I
I know.
literally can't wait.
It's gonna be good.
I will say, I don't know if this is really a fact. I don't really think this predicted anything.
Oh, I
So
was gonna say I
you
know what
know
you're
where
gonna
I'm going
say.
with this.
Mhm.
So there's a big thing that there's a little conspiracy that The Simpsons predict events that happen
Mhm.
in real life, and sometimes it's very coincidental. Sometimes it's a bit of a stretch. Sometimes it's spot on. But I mean, there's a bunch of creative people in a room and their imaginations are running. So I don't know. To take this with a grain of salt is what I'm saying. One of the facts that we had pulled was during the end credits, gunshots are heard when Phil Hartman's name appears on screen. This eerily predicts the actor's death later in the year when he was shot by his wife. I don't think this predicted anything, but it was an eerie coincidence. So, again, like, the conspiracies with The Simpsons, it's like, I don't know.
They have so many episodes. It's like something's gonna resemble something from our universe, right? Like they're gonna do something that
Yeah,
kind of looks like something that's happening here. It's just gonna happen.
exactly. And like trends and pop culture, like things repeat, things come back into
Yep.
trend. And
Yep.
history, sadly, repeats itself sometimes, like the flu
Mhm.
epidemic episode, where the fly or the mosquito bites someone who's sick in China and it gets, or in Japan, and it gets shipped into a box into the Simpsons home, and
Right.
it like causes a whole epidemic, like it's like, there's stuff in the world that happens, and this
Yes.
is that's all I'm going to say about that. It's yeah,
Yeah.
conspiracy. I
Yeah.
don't know. I would
Yeah.
debunk that.
Yeah. Um, I there were moments actually before the singing started in this episode that I thought were funny when the people in the western start singing and it cuts to Homer and Bart and their mouths are just agape. They're just in shock and befuddled of what is happening on the screen in front of them. And then when Homer goes to eject the VHS, he ejects it straight into a garbage can.
Yes,
Never
and
mind that he
pan
rented it.
right, and it pans over to Lisa and Marge, who are actually really enjoying the movie
I
when they were really disappointed that he didn't get Waiting to Exhale
know.
from
Yeah.
Blockbuster or wherever he got the movie from. But the attitudes just flipped, and it was really funny. They're like, "Oh, he's really dreamy."
I know. I'm like, oh, he can really sing.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know he could do the splits so well. It's like Marge.
I know. Yeah. Oh, and then at the very end, because I'm waiting for something because this is a fucking clip show. They're gonna say
Hmm.
fucking something about it at the very end. They're like, that's the end of another cheesy Simpsons clip show, and a banner comes down and it goes Simpsons clip show number 4. And I was like, all right, there it is.
Anytime they can just like,
I
like
know.
into Fox, I'm like, you go.
I know. You gotta love that they like don't take it too seriously either.
Oh, absolutely. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Love it. I don't think this deserved to be a flop. What do you
I
think?
don't either. I don't think it deserves to be a top, but like I think it deserves to live
No.
in the middle,
Yeah.
floating around there with the rest of the bulk of the episodes.
Yeah, I'd say like a 6-2. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know?
would say like a 6 somewhere in there for sure.
I mean, they got some of the best songs in there. We Put the
And
Spring in
that's it.
Springfield, Monorail, like, Baby on
That's
Board.
it. I think people just didn't like it because it is a clip show and they're like, ah, fucking clip show. But like this is one of those clip shows that I'm like, yes, just give me a montage of all of the musical numbers and I will be a happy gal.
Yeah,
Anything
absolutely.
anything else you want to add before we close this out?
You know, no, I think I've laid everything out that I really wanted to say. I mean,
Amazing.
it's a decent episode. It's a bit of nostalgia.
Yes, that's what the clip shows do give me nostalgia. And
Yeah.
I do like that about them. I know that the clip shows are annoying and they're not a new episode, but sometimes it's nice to have the little clips of the episodes that you may have forgotten about or that you like a lot, and you get to see those all back to back, and it's nice. It's a little comforting.
And remember, like back then, like we didn't have Disney Plus or Netflix to go back and flip. You either had to like
Mm,
TiVo that or like record it on a VHS and like
yeah,
watch them back, or you had to buy the DVDs or cassette tapes like to rewatch episodes. So it's kind of nice. It was
yeah,
kind of nice
yeah.
for like it served its purpose.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Shall we close her out?
let's do it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. As always, please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and participate in our bracket because we're trying to find the best episode ever and the worst episode ever. So help us figure out which is which. Vote on the polls. We put those up usually on Tuesdays and Fridays for the tops and flops.
Mm.
And Alyssa, what are we doing next week?
Next week, I had the hiccups. Next week, we are going to be talking about our top, which is season 8, episode 23, Homer's Enemy, rated at a 9.3, which we are very excited to talk about. And our flop is season 23, episode 22, Lisa Goes Gaga, at a solid 4. And I am going to blow your mind next week when we talk about both of these episodes, James.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
I'll see you all next week.
Yeah, smell you later.